Hello, I'm Tony Jacobson from Pieceworks Quilt Shop, and today I'm going to show you how to do 4 at a time flying geese units. These flying geese units are very helpful. There are a lot of blocks, as you can see in the quilt behind me, that will use 4 sets of flying geese as the points for their stars. So that's a good way of using this method. Also, any quilt that uses flying geese in it, this will make putting them together a lot easier. A lot of times what people have problems with is the bias edge that you have with triangles. In this scenario, we're going to start with squares. We're going to do some marking on our squares so that we're going to do our sewing prior to doing any cutting. This way we have stabilized the bias edge that we have on our triangles. You're going to need 2 different sizes of squares. The bigger square is going to be for the biggest portion of your flying geese unit. This is going to be your goose portion of your flying geese. This block will need to be 1 1/4 inches larger than the width of the finished size flying geese unit you need. Today I'm going to make a 3" by 6" flying geese unit. So the square I'm starting with is 7 1/4 inches. That's 1 1/4 inches more than my width of my flying geese unit. The second square, you're going to make 4 of these to go with each one of the larger squares, needs to be 7/8 of an inch larger than your shorter dimension of your flying geese units. So since I want it to end up 3 inches, these are 3 7/8 inch squares. We'll set aside the large square for now, and we're going to do our marking on the back side of our smaller square. I use a 1/4 inch seam marker to mark these squares. You can find these from different manufacturers. What they are is they have a center line that you use to line them up on your squares, and then it's a 1/4 inch away from that center line on either side of the tool. What you'll do is you will lay this on your square, line up the center line on your square, and then draw a line across there. You can go ahead and draw a line on this way, but sometimes when you're trying to do it that way, you have more of a chance that something's going to slip. So I would prefer to turn it around and then draw the line again. So what you're going to have is you're going to have parallel diagonal line going across your square on your blocks. You will do that with all 4 of the squares that you need for making these 4 flying geese units. Once you have these done, then you're going to take your square, your larger square, and you're going to line 2 of the 4 smaller squares on these. Lay them on opposite corners, and what you want is to make sure that your parallel lines are lined up across your block. If you find that they're not intersecting here, you've probably got a problem with either your smaller squares being the wrong size or your larger square being the wrong size. They should line up right along the lines here. And you want to make sure that your lines are going across here, not diagonally across. Make one continuous unit. Once you do that, you can take it to your sewing machine, and I've used dark thread to do my sample so you can see it on camera, but you would normally just use your neutral thread. You'll stitch along the lines that you've sewn or that you've drawn. Once you've done that, you can go in and you can cut in between. Now you can either use a rotary cutter, scissors, whatever. You've already sewn the accuracy in, so if you don't cut that absolutely right in the middle, it's not going to matter because it's going to be in your seam allowance. When you cut it apart, you will end up with 2 triangle units that look like this. And as you press them out, you will end up with this shape. And as you're going along, you get a little confused. It's like it doesn't look like it's going to make a flying geese unit to you. But I say you need a little bit of heart in quilting, and so you've got to have your heart shape in this one before you can get to where you need to be. So having this shape, which is a heart shape, is what you need. When you lay that down, you can lay in one of your other small squares on top, again aligning it on the corner of your bigger piece, having it so the parallel lines are coming up. You do that on both of them. I did that with this one, and then I took it to the sewing machine. Again, stitched my 2 lines. Then you're going to cut through the middle. When you cut through the middle, what you're going to end up with is you're going to have 2 that go one direction and 2 that go another direction. So don't think that you need to have these all go the same direction. They're going to go different directions. When you're done with them at this point, you can take them over to your pressing surface. I like to set my seams, and then you press that back, and that's where you get your flying geese unit. And then you'll have 4 of these flying geese units. You can trim off the dog ears that you've got and put it into your project. You can make star points, like if you put it this way, or you can make a quilt that has all these flying geese. I hope you found this video helpful, and I look forward to seeing what you do with it.